Russ and Z Show.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
Hey!
This is Russ and Z with another episode of Tall Truths and Short Tales from the Basement.
Yes.
We are excited to be here for another episode where we are bridging the gap between Main Street and Wall Street.
Yes, we are. And the gap is kind of, we ain't there yet, y'all. It's more like a ocean right now. I didn't realize, because of the fact there's so many layers to getting to Wall Street.
Yes.
You know, it looks like it's kind of, I don't know, have you guys ever been to Vegas and you've walked the strip and you see something down the street, you're like, oh, it's just right there, we can walk, and then you like, man.
By the time you get out there and hit that hot pavement and you realize that it just keeps getting further and further away.
Two water fountains later with them big old Cascade waterworks they be having, and you
16
still
flyers
walking.
from half-dressed women.
Exactly. That's the gap between Main Street and Wall Street.
Hey, and what we're here to do is help try and bridge it by bringing, like I said, awareness to things that are happening and awareness to you to help you learn how to maneuver these waters and get through this thing called life.
Yes, and also to make sure you don't step in that pothole. It's lots of potholes. If you live in Colorado Springs, you understand it's potholes.
Everywhere. I thought they was going to use this money from weed to help fix these roads, but
now see, here he go. Get off the soapbox, sir. Step
saying,
down.
Making all these weed sales out here.
Step
It's legal
down.
out here, and y'all can't
Listen,
use that
if you
money
really
to
want
fix
to be
these
honest,
streets.
if you want to keep it a whole
Fix the
hundred,
schools too.
Colorado Springs per se does not want the weed tax here, and so they don't sell it. You have to go to other places around, like Denver. That's why we don't know. Denver streets may be a little more.
Maybe nice.
I don't know. We don't know.
Colorado. Hey, let's go ahead and take a page out of Denver's book and see if we can make this thing happen out here and stop tearing these tires up.
And those rock pops, boy, you know, we've
Man,
had to replace 2 windshields already. Yo. Russ is hot.
Man, don't talk about no windshield. So I had a chip in my window. We're gonna say this right. I had a chip in my window, and it started off as a little chip,
Just a little bit.
and then it started snowing out here after it was like 80 degrees one day, and it snowed the next day. And I went to cut on the defroster so I could see through the window, and
Right.
it shot across my whole windshield.
Russ was like, how did that happen? We were
even know
literally
when
at
it
a light,
happened.
y'all. We were sitting there, and next thing you know, I said, Russ, look. He said,
Sound
what
like an
happened?
iceberg crack, and I'm like, wow, that's just. Thank you, Colorado Springs. But anyways, what we here, man, we talking about generational wealth.
Yes.
And what's going on with it? How does it not really hit the black community as hard as it hits other communities as far as being able to pass things down and keep the ball rolling? They got to start somewhere.
Right.
It has to start somewhere. It has to be some couple in a family that decides to do something in order to leave something for their children.
Now, let me put, I always use the analogy, let's put a little meat on the bone. We're not saying that, you can't get generational wealth. What we are saying is that in the black culture, now hear me, my black folks and my non-black folks, we love y'all equally the same, okay? I don't
No
say
color lines, as Theo would say on 92.3.
Exactly. No color lines, but we do see color, and this is why I don't really particularly care for the statement of I don't see color. I need you to see color, because I need you to see that there's certain things that you can get away with that I can't get away with. I need you to see color because if your son plays with my son and your son decides, and he is a black American, and he decides to chunk a rock in the street, and my son picks up and chunks the same rock, the repercussions for him could be a little different. You see what I'm saying? So we're not, I don't really like that. I don't see color. I need you to see it, and I need you to understand it.
Yeah,
okay?
And it does affect America. I mean, we've all kind of been through this whole year of, after the George Floyd thing,
right?
And how that impacted a lot. You saw the people out there, in the streets and everything. But like I said, it was for a reason. It was for a purpose. And it's one of those things where you have to make sure that you understand the disparity between households in America.
Right.
There's a major disparity, and it stems from history. And it's been the fact of not being counted as a person.
That's right.
I mean, we have to look at the origins of why people aren't where they should be or can be, or where America sees the black family.
Because if you weren't counted as a person, then someone who is a non-person cannot own property, you guys. So then if you're back we're not even going to go back to the 1800s. We'll just go to the 1900s. And if you're not allowed to have property, but then even if you are able to have property, it's in the lower part of the less desirable parts of the state with the waste dumps and whatnot. Then what type of quality of life do you have? I am blessed to have some history in my family where my grandfather on my father's side was a World War II vet, and he actually was the first black settlement in northern Texas in Dallas. It's called Hamilton Park. They were the first black community. This community establishment was different because this was the only place in North Dallas, Hamilton Park, that you were able to use your GI Bill.
Wow.
I don't know if people know that. Okay, so this gave some freedom to those blacks that were in that community, because they were able to do something that they weren't able to do before, like pick a color to their house. Can you imagine? Have you guys ever been in the South and you see these different areas or these just different communities, and you like, could somebody not get in the same line and be able to pick a color for a home? Well, that was their first time to be able to have that freedom, you guys. Now we're talking. This is World War II. Maybe some of your family members were able and blessed enough to have the same opportunity, and you still have that home in your family. Some don't.
Yeah, and you got to think, if that was the only location in that part of Texas, then you have to imagine that they must have saw that as a wasted space of land that can be given to someone. Just as a gimme, just as a, here, you know what, take this. It was one of those take this type things.
It actually was further away from the white community. It was in the middle of nowhere, basically, and that's where they were able to set up shop pretty much and be to themselves, so yeah, that's just a little history of Hamilton Park. And you guys Google it. It's actually, I'm very proud of that. They have it, the first generations. There's first generation families that are still there. One day I aspire to buy 8312 Grannis back from whoever owns it, you guys. That is my grandmother's home, and I don't care if it takes me 10 years. I'm coming for it.
There you go. But it's just like, it's the disparity, and it, like I said, like she was saying, it started from back in the day. I mean,
right.
You got to remember the whole purpose of why blacks were brought over to America. What's the original purpose, right? It was to help build this country, help get it off the ground, and to have free, cheap labor in order to make money for America.
Correct.
All right. So when you're seen as nothing but a worker, nothing but a tool to use for farming, or for whatever other purpose they were being used for, then to be seen as a actual person, then that stems the mindset from just history of generations.
That's correct.
Some people's great grandfather owned a person. Let's just look at it. They owned a person, right?
That is correct.
So with them owning a person, right, that person turns around and is the best worker out there. What are you going to do for your best worker? You're going to give them something in order to appease them, in order to keep them working hard. It's like a promotion right now for people that work in business, work out there. I mean, you got somebody who's working hard. You want to promote them. You want to give them a little extra, right? So back then, that little extra might have been a piece of land on the owner's property. And they said they gave it to him. Okay, this is your piece. You grow it. You do what you're going to do. But they still had to go work for massa.
Right.
They still had to go in there and plow crops and all that. It wasn't their land. It was just a piece of master's land that they gave him to fill. So the thing is if you've never had nothing to start with, how are you going to pass it down?
Right.
That's what this conversation is about. If you don't have nothing to begin with, what are you passing to the next generation? What are you passing to your children?
And then even if you can pass it down, can that generation hold it? Can they keep it? Do they have the financial tools and the understanding and the economic literacy to actually hold on to the property or the business or whatever it is you're trying to pass down?
How many of y'all done taught y'all kids how to balance a checkbook? I mean, really, pull out
an
old school checkbook and have them an account. We talking about teenagers. Have them an account and have them look at all their expenses and all of their purchases and same thing, and all of what their income is and things of that nature. Have you set up an account? I mean, have you put your child on your credit card, or is your credit good enough to put your child on your credit card?
And tell them why you would want to put your child on your credit card.
Because it automatically establishes credit for them at an early age.
That's right.
The thing is if you you have a pretty good credit score and you have a credit card that you use, throw your child on that credit card. Use
As
their
a user.
social as a user. But when that card comes in, you throw that thing in the shred bin and you break it, you chop it into little bitty pieces because you don't want that card to be used
That's
by
right.
anybody, but you want them to start establishing credit. It
That
helped
is
one
correct.
of our big babies out when they were getting ready to get a car. And they, you know, you look at their credit now, they over 18, you look at the credit and it's high, you know. But for somebody who's never had anything,
That
to
is correct.
automatically have established
That is-
a 750 or higher credit score off the gate and haven't even opened up their own card yet. I mean,
That's right.
come on now, that's winning.
I think that should be actually like one of the steps in trying to gain financial literacy.
A birthday gift.
Right. If you have a cool credit score and your child is over 13, put them as an unauthorized user, and then like Russ said, put it in the shred bin, y'all. We've done that. We have 3 big babies, one that's well into her 20s, and one that's about our last big baby girl is about to graduate high school,
yeah,
Lord. And we've done it for all 3. So it is something that can help, and yeah.
But the only thing is that you have to realize is there's a gap, and we were talking about that earlier. There's a gap. In 2019, they did a study and found out the median wealth. When you're talking about the median wealth, not to include Social Security and any type of other benefit type pensions, the median wealth of black households in the United States was $24,000 compared to $189,000. Let's think about that. The typical black household had 12.7% of wealth and owned less than $100,000 worth of assets. Think about that. Your house is an asset. You got to think about that. Things that you invest in are assets.
A car. I mean, even if it's not it could be an asset and a liability, but yeah.
Well,
it's
I
an
mean,
asset.
so with that being said, the
100,000.
gap is huge. The coronavirus, oh man, that affected a lot of people because of the fact of you got to think about how many people are living paycheck to paycheck.
That's right.
Not by choice, just because of the environment that they're in. It could be because they're in some place where schooling is not good. So if you already have a bad foot starting off and you're not in the back, I mean, there is a ranking system for education.
There is.
There's a number 1 state in America and there's a 50th state in America.
That is correct.
So if you live in any of the bottom 10 in ranking, what educational benefits do you have in order to understand wealth, to understand economics, to understand financial freedom if they ain't teaching you what you need to learn?
That's right. And oh well is not an answer. And too bad, or that my kids can learn. None of that is a viable answer in this day and age.
No, not at all. Not at all. And so with the pandemic hitting and people living from paycheck to paycheck and now getting laid off and now can't go to work because their kids are in school and now their kids are out of school. They need to find daycare, but they have to work.
Right.
How you going to work and watch your kid at the same time? You can't pay for, child care because you can't afford it. You live in check to check.
And sadly, listen, we said we were coming for our community, y'all. Listen, sadly, I've told all of my big babies this. There is a lot of talent in the black community, but there is very little follow through.
Yeah, oh man.
Let me say that again. There is a lot of talent. We have doctors, lawyers, we have mathematicians,
Scientists.
we have all types. But if soon as this community, especially the young generation, hits up against any type of adversity, I give up.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it.
I can't do it. It's too hard.
And then you want to sit up and say, oh, well, there's no opportunities. Why were we the ones, our community, the main ones getting hit with the coronavirus?
You know what? To speak on the topic you just said, why don't they push through? The thing is, and I'm going to hit hard here. I'm about to go back. They don't push through because they don't see their parents pushing through.
Hey.
You got to think about it. You are an image of what you see, right? All right. As a child, all right, let's hit home here.
Come on
like
now,
I said,
bring
we
them
coming
on
for
in.
real. 2-parent household, right? If it stays a 2-parent household while they're growing up, they've had both parents in their life.
That's right.
Now, if they see their mom and dad or baby mama and baby daddy that couldn't stay together in order to raise this kid, that's their first inclination of people who gave up.
That's right.
They're looking ahead. They're looking up. Oh, well, my dad gave up on me, so he left my mom. Or my mom gave up on me, and she left my dad.
That's right.
And now I'm in a single-parent household because somebody gave up.
Uh-oh.
So you're instilling the quitter mentality from the beginning.
From the jump, y'all.
From the jump, because they say, oh, y'all can't make it.
Why would I?
If y'all couldn't get along, or if y'all couldn't make it happen, then why should I push through adversity if y'all couldn't? I'm just going, we're going to leave it right.
And you know, they even go a little further with education. If you are not instilling go to college. You know, I don't know why. David Banner actually had something on his Instagram, y'all, maybe about a couple months ago. And he says that society has made it cool to be a dummy. He said a little different than that, but I'm going to say it like that. He said, and it seems like society lets one big old dummy in to make all the other dummies think, oh, look, see, you don't need school. Who said that? What?
The proof is in the pudding. The thing is how you preach in school to your kids, you ain't got no degrees hanging on your wall.
Come on now.
You can't. How you gonna say I need you to go to college and you ain't showing that you can go yourself? The proof is in the pudding. Like I said, parents are the examples for their children.
That's right.
So if you guys are the first examples, if we are the first examples, I want to be able to look back and go, well, I got this.
Yep.
You need to do better than me.
That's right.
You need to do better. But you have to show them. You can't say, I'm not doing nothing. I need you to do better than me.
That's right. They're like, yeah, okay. I mean, you know how kids are. You know, I don't care if you're a big kid, small kid. I don't care if you're a 40-year-old. Whatever your parent, you're watching what your parent does. And if they're doing the opposite of what they say, they're gonna follow your actions, and they are not gonna listen to your words. Why? Why do I say that, people? Because if you can get your child to do something just by talking, half this wouldn't even be out.
Ooh.
If you can tell your child one time to do something and they would do it, then a lot of therapists, a lot of everybody would be out of a job. But they watch action. So I'm a type of person, I'm not listening to what you're telling me. I'm watching you.
No, because
I am not
action,
that one.
Actions speak louder. That is the truest statement. Action speaks louder than words. Why? Because you can say a whole bunch, but if your movement ain't in it, and if your body language ain't in it, I mean, I could tell you I hate you and smile in your face at the same time.
Hey, come on, somebody. So we have to enact the steps, right? We have to make sure that we are trying to get out there. Me and Russ have had to go back to, old school economics, just trying to get this podcast off the ground. There's some things we don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know, and so if you can even confine yourself to the fact, hey, I need to catch up on some education on certain things. I need to, brush up on some things, and then tell your children or model that behavior, and then they see it's okay to go back to the lab and restart. What do you think they would do? They wouldn't be so afraid to take risks. Man, this podcast for me and Russ is a risk. We are excited. There's been times we have freaked out. We have, listen, I have quit the podcast like 5 times already.
Man, I was about to go solo on here. This is Russ with the Russ and Russ podcast. I mean, it's just
because it just gets frustrating, you guys, but we have to keep pushing through.
We have to, because it's not about us. It's about making sure that we get the message out, and there's things we need to know. But listen, we're going to take this break, and we're going to come back with ways that we can prepare we can prepare ourselves in order to start this generational wealth thing. We need to start it. It needs to start with a family. And if it wasn't your parents that passed you down nothing, then you need to be the one to start it for your children. And after these commercials, we're going to go ahead and get into that. All right, we are back.
Yes.
First, we want to definitely thank our sponsor, Drip Queen Coffee, for having us ready for this episode this morning.
Yes.
We got the coffee going, and boy, these microphones help separate us.
Go ahead. If you would like to also see us, you can go to our IG at @RussandZ_podcast. or our YouTube at Russ and Z Podcast. You can also check out our website at www.mosscompanyllc.org, where you can see our episodes. You can check out our blog and also purchase some merch from the website. Yes, you can.
We are back with the rest of the episodes talking about generational wealth. We're going to give first of all, some resources that's out there. We're not just going to tell you what the issues are and not give you no solutions.
That's right.
That's not what we're about. We want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to break this generational curse that has affected the community. You got to start somewhere. It has to start with 2 people or 1 person in the family to make that difference. I mean, how many of y'all got a millionaire in your family?
All right.
Let's think
Raise
about
your
that. How many of you guys have a millionaire in your family?
If I have one, I don't know him.
And if you have a millionaire in your family, how far separated from you are they? Are
That's
they
right.
a first cousin, second cousin, third uncle, fourth uncle? Is it somebody in your immediate family?
Right.
Why not?
Right.
Why not? Why don't you have a millionaire or billionaire, as far as saying, that in the family?
Waiting on the neighbor, I guess. I don't know, or the lady down the street or
But
something.
people want to complain about somebody who's coming up and doing something.
Uh-oh.
You can't do that.
Pull them toes back, y'all.
You guys, everyone has to try and big up and congratulate somebody who's trying to make a difference.
That's right. That's
you,
right.
You have to, especially in the community. And the thing is I hate it, but it's that whole crab in a barrel mentality type thing.
Yikes,
and,
y'all.
And Jay-Z put it best, crabs in a barrel, but who put them in a barrel?
Right.
How did the crabs get in the barrel in the first place to try and climb out of?
Mm-hmm.
And if you are one of those crabs trying to climb out of the barrel and you have another crab pulling you back down, how are we going to get ahead? How are we going to catch up? Not even get ahead. How are we going to catch up?
You turn around and you bite that claw off and then you rip it off the side and you throw it down and you... Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just went in on it. Mr. Krabs is running right now.
Y'all, the coffee kicked in.
Hey, speaking of crab, shout out to Juicy Seafood. They had a crab, soft shell crab po' boy we had when we was being greedy.
Yeah, I can't.
On the side.
They catfish fire.
Anyway, so you guys gotta check them out. Juicy Seafood
digress.
USA. But like I said, we're gonna give you some ways in order to help this. I mean, one of the first things that we want to talk about is kind of our experiences with home buying. The thing is, home buying is like the number one asset that you can have that can be passed down from generation to generation.
Right. Now, what we did not know, we have had 4 homes. That's not bragging. That's telling you that we are coming from a place of understanding, knowing mistakes, okay,
Yes.
and triumphs. All right. But we have had 4 homes spanning in 3 different states. And it's all a different experience, you guys. One thing we did not know, if you are in your 20s, I would advise trying to go for a duplex. Don't make it a single family home, because one thing you are not going to do, and we thought, I mean, yes, with us being a military family, we knew that we weren't going to be in one home for the rest of our life.
Right,
we knew that. But a lot of times when you are even not a military family, if you are able to purchase a home, that's typically not the home that you are going to,
That's not going to be your forever home.
forever. That's right.
It's not going to be your forever home. It's going to be a starter home. It's going to be something that you're going to end up growing out of.
So if you're going into that investment knowing that, why not get into a duplex? You live in one and you rent out the rest. Now, do you know that first-time home buyers get a sweeter deal than if you are a second or third-time home buyer?
Right.
So if you buy the duplex on your first time buying a home, you've already started trying to process that generational wealth.
Now, to back up a little bit, you're like, well, how do I get the funding to buy a home? I don't have the money. I don't have a down payment. I don't have the money. I'm working paycheck to paycheck. I don't know anything about buying a home. I'm barely keeping this apartment, section, whatever the case may be. You're gonna say that's the first thing people do, and this is the thing this is another generational curse. When somebody brings something to your attention to make your life better, the first thing you do is come up with excuses on why you can't get it done.
Well, if I had that sausage sandwich last week, I could have.
But why?
Come on now.
Why is it always a reason why you can't do it? It's saying, "Show me how."
Right.
Or what's the best way of doing it? Excuses are like buttholes. They all stink, y'all.
And everybody got one.
So hopefully everybody got one. But you got to make sure that you are putting yourself in place. Now, this is the thing. We ain't going to give you, like I said, we're not going to give you no problems without giving you no solution. Now, one of the things that we found out about as a homeowner trying to sell one of our homes was about this program that is nationwide.
That's right.
Everybody listen to me. There is a nationwide program called the NACA program. Now, that sounds like a very irritating word. And I'm going to tell you why it's irritating as a homeowner. Why? Because of the fact of when people are trying to purchase homes using a NACA program, there's a lot of stipulations that homeowners have to meet and
That's
require in order to be able to sell their home to somebody in this program. The flip side of this is this program, which is called Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America, is a program that brings your path to home ownership and makes it easy. All
Okay.
right? These are the things that works with the NACA program. Y'all hear me? This is y'all way of owning your first piece of property that you can start building.
Get that piece of paper and pencil, y'all.
Don't sell grandma's house, right? That's what they're saying. We'll buy the block back. Let's just go ahead and figure out how to even buy the block in the first place.
There you go.
So the NACA program has no down payment, no closing costs, no fees, and below market fixed rate. Reason why I'm saying that is because if you make under a certain amount of money, you have a certain amount of income, this program will help you purchase your first home.
What?
They send you through training to help you understand how to take care of your first home. They have events and workshops and things and live webinars and rental and mortgage assistance shops and things of that nature
Come on, somebody.
to help you learn. The thing is, you're not going to know this stuff. You got to put your head in the book. The average millionaire reads 2 books
a month.
a month.
Yes. A month, y'all.
They watch 60 minutes of TV a week.
A week.
They wake up at 4 a.m. and start off with meditation and exercise. Put it in the book, right? That's what they say. If you put it in the book.
That's what my grandmother used to say. If you want to hide some information for someone, put it in a book.
So that saying has to start somewhere.
Yep, my grandmother in Texas, Grandmere.
So the thing is the NACA program is available right now. They actually have a 2% fixed APR.
2%.
2%.
Y'all, I know some of y'all riding around with a 28% APR on a 2010. Okay.
So this program is individualized, it's comprehensive, and it's ownership access for anybody. So we had a house that we sold to somebody who was on a NACA program. And what we had to do is we had to fix certain things that we wouldn't have fixed, I'm not gonna lie, for a regular homeowner.
Right.
It's little things that the fact is they're not trying to put a lot of pressure on a first-time home buyer.
That's
so
right.
as a home seller, you have to prepare. Now this is where people have to give a crap. We were selling our house because we were moving into another house.
Right.
So we wanted to sell our house. The thing is because we found somebody was on a NACA program to buy our house, after we made those fixes, after we did all that stuff, we basically sold them that house and gave them their first piece of property. And they were excited. It was their first time homeowners.
That's right.
They were moving out of some apartments. They were getting ready to have their first child.
They're so excited.
They were so excited. Why? Because now this is us being able to look back and go, you know what? We made this possible for a family.
Right.
So the thing is, you could be that family that's finally trying to get on their feet, finally trying to establish. The thing is, once you get into a home and you can afford this home and you're making your monthly payments on this home, your home can go up in value.
That's right.
Depending on where you're at. Now, this is the thing. You have to get out of the neighborhood that you're in. And that's why they say, oh, you done got better. You done moved away. No, it's the fact that you're trying to build a better life for your children.
That's correct.
You don't want to be in the same, you don't want your children to be around the same mindset that got, a lot of people stuck in that stuck feeling, in that box feeling, right? So you have to make sure of that.
That's right. That's right. They say the best way you can grow is get out of your comfort zone. If you were raised in one part of the state, or you was raised in one city your whole life, and you don't even know that the border to that state is not even a mile down the street, shame on you. That was one thing we were able, I will absolutely never regret not one trip that we have gone on with our big babies, because they were exposed to a lot. Not even with just the military, just outside leisure travel. They were exposed to a lot of different cultures. They were exposed to a lot of different, areas and how people live, and that's the same thing you want to do with yourself. You can't grow if you don't move out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Okay.
If you're comfortable, you're not growing.
That's right.
If you settle and you go home and you feel comfortable, and you're just like, oh, another day, you just wasted a day of your life. Why? Because not being comfortable, showing you're in something that's causing growth.
That's right.
And you're moving yourself out of your comfort zone to learn something new. How many people hated going to school?
Man.
Why did you hate going to school? Because you had to learn something that you didn't want to learn. But now when you get older, you go, man, I wish I would have paid more attention in economics.
Yeah, pretty much.
I wish I would have paid more attention in politics. When you're talking about government and history and things, I wish I would have paid more attention. Why? Because we teach our big babies right now. You don't like math, but math is nothing but problem solving in life.
That's right.
How do I get X? How do I find X? I got all this Y and Z and numbers and letters and all that stuff, but I need to find X. How do I get to that? And if you don't understand that, you're never going to understand. So growth, like I said, causes being uncomfortable.
That's correct.
And so some other things that you can do as far as helping creating type of wealth besides home ownership is creating some type of savings or some type of IRA, Roth, or some type of college fund to put some money to the side. Why? Because you're going to want your kids to go to school. They don't have to get into college.
Right.
And depending on the community that you live in, the education is not going to put them and set them up in order to be ready for college.
That's correct.
Because you have to take placement exams. You have to take the SAT. You have to take the ACT and things of that nature. So if you are in a low-income neighborhood going to schools and the teachers aren't teaching you enough to even get you to a certain point, how are you going to be successful and hope that they go to college?
Now, here's the catch, you guys. Why is he saying all of this? What does this have to do with generational wealth? Well, the reason why those schools are so low on the educational totem pole is the property tax comes from the houses that are owned in the neighborhood. Well, if the homeowners don't own anything and the property taxes don't pay anything the taxes to go towards the school, you wonder why you can't retain good teachers.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
it's
paid for with your property tax, you guys. Everyone knows if you are a homeowner out there, you know you pay your taxes for part of the school that you live in. We live in one of the highest. I'm not even going to kid you. Because the education is better here.
Let's talk about our last home.
What's that?
Let's talk about our last home. When we were paying almost $12,000 in property taxes.
Yes, 12 grand.
6,000 of that went to school districts.
Yep. Yes, it does. Yes, in good old Texas where y'all don't pay nothing.
So I mean, it matters. It
really does.
So look around. Walk outside your front door.
Right.
Look around. If it's a bunch of apartments,
that's why.
If it's a bunch of,
there's no property taxes out there, you guys.
There's no houses around where you live. There's no property taxes going into it.
That's right.
So if there's no property tax, there's nothing going into the school. Now I know a lot of people, they don't put money into the schools anyway, but
they do.
Why not? Because there's no properties to take it from.
That's right. Look around. If you live in a neighborhood, they have a lot of apartments. That's the reason why the schools suck, you guys. And then that's why when you tell someone, well, stay real or don't move, you have to move.
You have to.
You have to. Because if you know better, you have to do better.
That's the way it works.
So that is the whole reason why we're wrapping education and giving you a little bit of something that we didn't know coming through. Here it is.
And also, I mean, when you get ready to apply for these things and get this stuff, yeah, all that helps. All that matters. Your educational background. The thing is, if you want to start a business or whatever the case may be, and you never been to college, you don't know how to handle money and all that stuff. Why is somebody gonna trust you with $100,000?
Exactly.
Why are they gonna trust you with $200,000 and they haven't shown any lick of dedication from you? College ain't nothing but showing dedication.
That's right.
That's all it is.
That's
College
all it
is the fact that you can show somebody that you were dedicated to something for an amount of time. No matter what that piece of paper is a degree in. It could be whatever the case may be, but you studied 4 years and got that degree in whatever the case may be. So you dedicated 4 years of your life and saw it through to the end.
That's right.
You got to see it through, my boy.
You got to see it through, my boy.
So they were able to see. So the thing
Shout
is,
out to
it shows that you are dedicated. Besides anything else.
That's right.
That you are dedicated to something, that you own it, and that you take care of it.
There you go.
There you go. Another thing, you have to make sure that your child has a strong social safety net. How you do that is making sure that they're in an environment that influences them to move forward.
Okay.
They have to. You
Right.
can't be stagnant. Like we said, stagnant is showing being comfortable. Being comfortable is not showing growth.
That's right. You're not growing.
So you have to make sure that you're pushing these things down and you having something for them in order to start off with. They have to have a foundation.
Right.
Who's going to start that foundation for the kids? They didn't ask to be here. You made them and you brought them, so it's time to create that foundation for them.
Well, show them the gun line, boss. Go ahead and show them to them. What you gonna give them?
So some of the things that you have to do that you have to make sure of is starting them off on the right foot. Like I said, you want to make sure that they have
A savings account.
A savings account, something put aside. You made these babies.
Exactly. You can't just drop them.
You need to save for these babies. Think ahead.
That's right.
Even if it's $10 a week to put aside for them, $5 a week. That's only $20 a month.
That's and please get out of this mindset of when they're 18, that's it. I'm done talking. Who
it
said
don't
that?
work. It don't work.
I'm not done talking, and my oldest is well in her 20s. I mean, it's an ongoing life dedication. So just like Russ said, you made these babies.
You got to take care of them.
You have to. It is your responsibility to have your children be in a better position than you were in your life. That's it. If you don't want them to crush what you were, then you're not. I want my kids to pass
Outwork
me.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah, pass me
I want
up.
you to. I want to be like, that is nuts.
So,
look how far my kids went.
Think about if you had that mindset for your children, that you want them to pass you up. So if you go out there killing the game, you out there working, and you want them to do better than you, and they surpass you, then how much better are they going to be?
That's right.
Let's think about that.
That's right.
How much better are they going? If you out there grinding and busting your butt, and now they moved past you, now they're successful, they're making it work, they're making it happen.
Pretty
that's
much
what you want.
That's how generational wealth is.
That's what
you
want.
do what you do. You go as far as you can, and you pass that baton to the next generation.
And they
take that stick and they keep it moving. But it has to start with someone.
It has to start somewhere. So be that person to start with. Be the change you
want
want
to
to see. So make that person. So make sure that you get out there and build. It's about making sure that you have a foundation for your children. Have them be able to grow. Have them be able to see the world. A well-traveled child is a child that understands the world better.
That's right.
And understand cultures and understand people and why they think the way they think and why they do the things they do. If they're all stuck with looking at the same people, then they're never going to see anything different, and they're all going to have the same mindset.
That's correct.
You have to make sure that you grow them up.
There's one thing I tell all of my big babies and even my little guys that I have. You show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. Show me the 5 people you hang around with.
What are they doing?
You are the average of all of them. So if all of them are doing nothing but sitting around scratching and picking, guess what you doing? Picking and scratching.
You're gonna mimic what you see. Now, if you see people that's out there grinding and working and going to school and working the job and trying to take care of it, and you around people like that, they're going to force you to do the same thing.
Exactly.
Because
you don't want to
be
the
exactly.
You don't
$5 for a gas ride. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to be the one talking about, can you take me?
You don't want to be the wink link, because and that's one thing that we have learned. It's like, we have to change our circle and get around more entrepreneurs, more podcasters, you guys, more people going in the direction we are, and we are a competitive couple. You're not going to outwork us. It's not about to happen.
So definitely use the programs that's out there. You have to do the research to find out what's available. Like I said, a lot of people didn't know about the NACA program. Hopefully, if you've never heard about this program, the first thing that you do is go ahead and go to your Google machine and type in NACA. All right? And just find out, what do you have to do to qualify for this program.
Can you put the website on our website?
It's going to be on the resources. It's going to be on the blog. So
check
it out. Check out the blog. And we just want to say thank you for listening to us. Hopefully we're able to say something that affects you. Hopefully we're able to say something that gets your motor going and get you moving in the right direction. If you need help, definitely go to www.dripqueencoffee.com and get you some coffee.
Yes.
That will help you get motivated and start off your 4 a.m. day, millionaire.
You can get 15% off coupon, and the grand opening is June 1st.
June 1st. So thank you guys again for hanging out with us. If you want to check us out and hear more of our stuff, go to our Instagram, go to our Facebook. Just Google Russ and Z, Z-E-E on Google, and you'll be able to find all of our websites and our information about that. But we want to thank you guys again for listening to us. And until then, we want you to be
the change you want to see.
That's right.